Hi everyone, welcome back to Simplify. Thanks for joining me for another video. Today I want to talk about a really confusing topic. Well, it was confusing for me at the very least, so I decided to do some research. I wanted to learn about all of the different types of cryptocurrencies that exist. Everybody knows about Bitcoin and it's become synonymous with cryptocurrency. But there are many other variations. There are thousands of cryptocurrencies today. And it's really important to understand the differences because oftentimes arguments are made about cryptocurrency being of a certain value, but it's impossible to really understand the value of a cryptocurrency unless you understand the actual coin that you're talking about and the origin of that coin, the use case of that coin, why it exists. So today's video is really intended to provide some clarity on some of the basic differences. And we're not going to have time to get into depth on many different currencies, but I would like to spend some time sharing some of the information I've learned that I think is important to know. Now, as I mentioned, Bitcoin is really the godfather here in the cryptocurrency space. Most people are aware of Bitcoin and they think that that is cryptocurrency. To a large extent, I would say that is a correct assumption. Bitcoin started the movement. It really is the original currency, the original technology that was built and stands the test of time today. I think it's probably the safest, the most well thought out, the most functional of all the cryptocurrencies. We'll get into some specific use cases for other coins, why they exist, and I definitely acknowledge that there's a place in the market for a lot of other coins, but for now, Bitcoin, in my opinion, is really the most important and profound cryptocurrency that deserves your attention if you want to get into the space. I would recommend to everyone, if you're interested in cryptocurrency, to read a book or two on Bitcoin specifically. I would also recommend that you read the original white paper on Bitcoin. It was written by an individual known as Satoshi. This person is anonymous. We don't know a lot about the person, but there are lots of theories online. You can certainly jump down that rabbit hole if you're interested. Now, any other coin different from Bitcoin is known as an alternative coin, or short for altcoin. So if you ever hear the term altcoin, it's really any other cryptocurrency that is not Bitcoin. Altcoins typically have a very specific use case. They often build on Bitcoin technology, on the blockchain, but they add something new. They add a slightly different tweak or a slightly different read on how things should be working. In some cases, they're industry specific. They add value to a specific type of transaction that needs to happen or a specific type of industry. The easiest coin for me to talk about is Ethereum. Ethereum certainly has a specific technical use case. It's seen primarily as offering something called smart contracts. Smart contracts are written into the base code of this cryptocurrency. And so without any centralization or review by lawyers or banks or any other entity, a completely decentralized approval process for transactions happens through something called smart contracts. Now, we won't get into any level of depth here on Ethereum. I think similar to Bitcoin, if you are interested in learning more, there are a ton of great books and other resources available, so I'd encourage you to check those out. There are also many other altcoins that we won't talk about here today, but know that there are other unique use cases that other coins have, and they've carved out a space in the market. It's unclear whether or not any of these coins will survive, so uncertainty is definitely a part of the game. But like any entrepreneurial adventure, whoever has created these coins had an idea in mind and is pursuing that idea. the market will dictate their success in the long term. Where things start to fall off for me, and what really drove me to do more research, was when I started reading more about random coins that were popping up that didn't really seem to have a use case behind them. There are some popular examples like Dogecoin or Shiba Inu. These coins became very popular very quickly through social media channels. These coins were really just capturing an idea. So you may be familiar with the term meme coin. That's what these coins are. Meme coins are a subcategory of altcoins, but they're specific in that they usually have no use case. They have no value other than the person or the founder who started that coin having some sort of public persona that is sellable to others. In some cases, it's simply an idea or a meme. Memes were popularized for a reason, and transitioned into a coin can become very popular. Some of these meme coins have had movements behind them. They've been heavily advertised or caught fire on a particular social media platform and have exploded. What people do then is invest in these meme coins. They put their hard-earned money into the coin, hoping that it continues to gain value. And oftentimes it's confusing because the value of the coin explodes through the roof. And if you're just reading an article about cryptocurrency and how quickly it's grown over the last 3 to 4 years, you can get confused by the differences between, let's say, Bitcoin or Ethereum and a meme coin. Often in articles, all of these categories can be coupled together, making even more confusing the landscape around the differences between and among the coins. For context, I'll give you a recent example. Donald Trump, before inauguration, released his own personal meme coin. I think he did this 2 days before inauguration, and then a day after, the First Lady, Melania Trump, released her own coin. I think it was called Melania, and I forget what President Trump's coin was called. Needless to say, this was developed around a persona. It was meant to capture a movement around the president's support for cryptocurrency. There are all sorts of justifications used by the president for releasing this coin, but it's obviously been criticized heavily within the cryptocurrency community. Because meme coins have no inherent value, they're simply capturing an idea and a support for that idea, and they're often tied to the biggest investor in that particular coin, which is usually the person who creates that coin. That ownership then and the value thereof is completely derived by the decisions that person makes around the coin. So as long as the holding company for the most recent Trump and Melania coins remains steady and doesn't sell their shares, then those coins will retain value. But the moment that the majority stakeholder or any large group decides to sell those coins, they will plummet potentially to zero in very quick fashion. Now, the people who end up blindsided by these transactions are those who are just people who are supporting the idea. But because they don't have access into the decision making of the larger shareholder, they often can become blindsided and lose all of their money instantaneously. I think this highlights a really critical consideration if you're looking at cryptocurrencies. Meme coins are exploitable. Meme coins do typically target passionate people or vulnerable people or people who just don't necessarily understand what they're investing in, and can lead them down a road to ultimately lose everything very quickly because it's not clear what they're investing in or supporting. I attribute a lot of the confusion to social media advertising and campaigns that can build hype around an idea, and it's usually sponsored hype that's been paid for by the company promoting the particular product. That sponsor then can pull the rug out at any moment and change the trajectory of the value of that particular meme coin. To go back to the Trump coin, I read a statistic that over $58 million in transaction fees alone were made when this coin was released. A lot of the people investing in this coin may have been opportunists who are gambling and looking for a very quick win. It's a very popular idea to put money in and make 100x overnight. A lot of people are looking for that quick, easy win and to become a millionaire overnight. But that's usually not how these things play out for the majority of investors over time. The people who win in these cases are the people who typically already have a large part of the wealth and are looking to grow that wealth even more. The people who lose are those who are going in to this transaction with a bit of naive excitement around potentially becoming rich. They ride the wave, they ride the hysteria, but then overnight things change so quickly that they don't have time to react and to preserve their initial investment at almost any level. I see this as very problematic. And just the confusion alone around all of these coins, these thousands of coins that seem to appear out of nowhere overnight for no reason and do garner support based upon advocacy from famous people or weird online campaigns that are targeting you for a particular vulnerability or some sort of reason that they have through whatever channels of marketing that are available to these companies. It's extremely dangerous. It's a precedent that we don't want to set. And one of the big problems here is that meme coins are coupled in with cryptocurrencies, and there's a lack of awareness about all of the differences that exist. And so these ideas can unnecessarily tarnish the reputation of cryptocurrency as a whole. If you recall, cryptocurrency as a movement was started in order to take power away from centralized sources of power like central banks and governments, and to put all of those transactions into an open, easily read blockchain that doesn't require the maintenance of these centralized organizations, but also is independent from and safe from corruption, from unnecessary fees and penalties that are built into these systems. Bitcoin was essentially established to remove this power from this central source and to spread it out to the people, and so everyone has access to the same information, thereby making monetary policy and the ability to understand what's happening in these markets much more available to those who want to preserve and control their own wealth. When you couple in things like meme coins, you're bringing an element of that centralization or that corruption that was initially called out. You're bringing an element of that back into the cryptocurrency space. You're allowing that sort of mentality to start influencing what's happening in the larger cryptocurrency space. Many dissenters who do not support cryptocurrency can easily grab onto these use cases and say, well, this is no different. Cryptocurrencies are also being exploited, and they're taking advantage of people, those who are vulnerable, those who are trying to build wealth and have honest careers, but then are being manipulated and lose their entire life savings overnight. That's a problem. That's a problem for the cryptocurrency industry in general, and it's definitely something that needs to be addressed over time. I think there are also a lot of ethical concerns with having public figures who are representing the people of the United States or any governing body to be involved in these types of activities. And so much more needs to be studied in terms of how we legislate and prevent these things from happening in the future. But the first step is personal awareness. This is exactly why I decided to take the last week and research all of these differences and provide this short video to you. I think the more knowledge and awareness people have and the more resources that are available online, the better off the community will be. So collectively, let's get stronger. And to that very point, if I've said anything that you disagree with, or if you'd like to add to this discussion, please do so down in the comments. I definitely don't proclaim to be any sort of expert in this area. I'm just a person who's interested and did some research and thought I would share some ideas. If you did like this video, please let me know down below. I hate asking for it, but if you would, please subscribe and like the video, add comments, and let me know what you're thinking. Thanks again. I look forward to seeing you next week for another video.